Hope your week is off to a great start. When the Torah describes Bezalel, the point man, the main constructor of the Mishkan, the tabernacle, we are told a few parshiot ago, the Torah describes, Va'amaleo to ruach Elokim, God says, I have endowed him, previously I've endowed him with the divine spirit, the divine spirit which manifested itself in terms of wisdom and understanding, knowledge, and all the skills that were necessary for all the work that had to be done. And then in this week's Parsha Vayakhel, it says, Vayimaleo to ruach Elokim, that God filled him with divine spirit. Sounds like what's happened here is he had been previously filled with the Spirit, and then in this week's Parsha, we're hearing about how he endowed him with. And so this change, and I put those two psukim on the source sheet, so take a look at it. There's a slight change from the way it was described in this week's Parsha to what it was a few chapters ago. And so the Midrash picks up on this and says, Shekvar haita bo chochma. The phrase v'amalei, that I have endowed him, I have filled him with, makes it sound like he already was given this wisdom by the time we get to our parsha, and we're describing God as giving him the wisdom. So what does this all teach us? God only gives and endows wisdom to those who already have it. Okay, that statement is going to be further analyzed because there are questions that we can ask on that. And that is exactly what happens next. Matrona achat sha'alat Rabbi Yossi bar Chalafta. There was a woman, a Roman noblewoman, who came to ask Rabbi Yossi, the son of Chalafta, a question. Moshe Katav Yahev Chochmata Lachakimin. Second chapter of the book of Daniel, it says, she asks, what is meant when the book says, quote, God gives wisdom, he gives wisdom to the wise. Yahev chochmata lachakimin, he gives wisdom to the wise. She says, doesn't make any sense. Why would this be written in Sefer Daniel? Latip shimayat sarich lomar. Don't give wisdom to the ones who are wise, give wisdom to the fools. They need the wisdom. Amar la, Rabbi Yossi bar Chalafta responded back, Biti, my daughter, im yavo'u etzlech shnayim echad ani ve'echad asher. Let me ask you a question. Two people come to you. One is rich and one is poor. Ve'ein tzrichim lilvot mimech mamon, and they would like to take a loan from you. Le'eze mehen ant malva. Who are you going to be more inclined to give to? More comfortable to give to? Amar la, so she answered, le'ashir, to the wealthy one. Amar la, so he says to her, well, and why? Velama, why would you give to the wealthy one? Amar la, so she responded back, she'im yechsar, because if this person lacks the funds to pay, something happens, they take the loan, they invest it in a business and something goes wrong, if they lose some money, yellow mamon sheyifra, that person most likely will still have money with which they can pay back the loan. Aval ani, but the poor person, im ya'abed me'otai, if they lose their money, they invest, they try to start a business and it tanks. Mehechan yifra, from where will they have the funds to pay me back? Amar la, so Rabbi Yossi bar Chalafta responds to her, Yishma'u oznaich ma shepich midaber. Your ears should listen to what your mouth is saying. Another way of saying, you just answered your own question. Kach im haya hakadosh baruch hu noten chochma latipshim. If God gave wisdom to those that were fools, hayu yoshvin bebate kisot umevoot mitunafot uvate merchatzaot ve'ein mitaskim ba. What would they do? They would go to the kisaot. That's like where people go to the bathroom, right? They're hanging out in the public bathrooms. They're hanging out in alleyways that are filthy. They are hanging out in bathhouses. And they're not going to use the wisdom. Ella nitana hakadosh baruch hu lachachamim sheyoshvim biyeshivat zekenim b'batei knesiot u'b'batei midrashot ve'oskim ba. Who does God give the wisdom to? He gives the wisdom to the wise, because they are, where are the wise people? Spending their time, they are sitting surrounded in the yeshiva of the elders, in the study halls of the elders, in the batei kinesiot, in the synagogues and the houses of study, the batei midrashot, and they are engaged in using their wisdom. And lekach kativ amalei. That's why we're taught Bezalel was filled with wisdom, and when he then was utilizing that wisdom to do good, to build a mishkan, to enhance the spirituality of the community around him and of his own, God further endowed him with more wisdom. Now, I want to explain this because on first glance, this lady's question, the matrona, is still, even though it's been answered by Rabbi Yossi Bar Chalafta, it seems unfair. If a person is a fool, well, give them a chance. But if you read very carefully this midrash, what it is saying is, what defines wisdom, at least initially? It is what position we try to put ourselves in. What effort do we make to surround ourselves with a setting in which we can grow? The tipshim, the fools, are described as sitting in places that are filthy, that are not going to be surrounded by others who possess wisdom from whom I can learn. And the chachamim, those who are wise, sit in places where there are other wise people, where they are going to learn, where they are going to enhance their own spirituality, their own knowledge, and that of those around them. And basically what I think this midrash is saying is that those who try hard to acquire wisdom, God helps them acquire wisdom. It's like the phrase in the Talmud, Ba'alitaher Mesayinoto. Someone who comes to try to purify themselves, try to fix the situation, Kadosh Baruch Hu, God is going to help them. And I think that if we try to do our best to acquire wisdom, to take also what it is that we have and we possess and put it into action and try to build off of that, then God hopefully will help us in that journey. But we have to put the effort in. Bezalel became the main constructor of the Mishkan, not simply because he was talented and wise. He certainly was. But he wanted to put his wisdom and talents into action. And then when he did that, God said, I'm going to give you even more wisdom. You want to keep learning? I'll keep filling your mind with some more wisdom. May we all put in the effort to grow in wisdom, in spirituality, and in turn, may God endow us with more wisdom, and a much, much, much higher sense of spirituality as we go through that. Take care, everybody. Have a great week.